Eddy Nawgu, born Edwin Okeke, was a Nigerian sorcerer, self-proclaimed prophet, and religious figure. He was popularly known in the mid-90s as Eddy Nawgu amongst many Nigerians. His nickname Nawgu came about because he was from Nawgu community, a town situated in the Dunokofia local government area of Anambra state. Hello guys, welcome back to Make with Gist. If you're new here, consider subscribing and be part of this awesome family. At the age of 29, Eddy Nawgu Okeke proclaimed he had been touched by the biblical God and was given the ability to see and perceive what the ordinary human eye or other four senses could not intercept. Shortly after he began his ministry, he built a church-like structure and named it Anambra Healing Center. He stated that the reasons for creating the Anambra Healing Center was to heal the sick people in the community and restore hope to people. That wasn't exactly the case. After a few years, people started speaking of his illicit activities. In 1990, for instance, worshippers in one of his services were told to bless two men who the prophet had prayed for previously for breakthrough. It turned out that the duo had successfully transported hard drugs to Europe without being caught. The self-proclaimed prophet of God had become a person of interest in numerous crimes committed not only in the community but across Anambra state as a whole. As a result, he had begun to attract the attention of the popular Bakasi boys, a vigilante security group which was set up and spearheaded under the tenure of Eddy Nawgu, a former governor of Anambra State, with a single mandate to fish out criminals, sponsors of criminal gangs, and men of questionable characters. Eddy Nawgu had been accused of kidnapping, aiding, and abetting infamous criminals, partaking in rituals involving use of human body parts, the human skull, illegal possession of firearms, and human sacrifices. This took him to the top of their most wanted list. Eddy Nawgu became more visible, daring, and pronounced. By the mid-90s, he became friends with almost all the questionable millionaires of the era. They all paid him homage and had him perform tasks such as house opening and dedications of their infants. He was said to be well known by most military administrators of the time. Most of them visited him in his healing center where he prayed for them. He proudly bore the names Alusi Neja Uka, the deity that goes to church, and Okala Mmadu, Okala Mo, half man, half spirit. Eddy was visited 14 times before the men were able to match his powers and apprehended him on November 4th, the year 2000. Eddy Okeke's wife, Joyce Okeke, was present when he was arrested. She narrated it was on November 4, 2020, the year 2000. At about 4 a.m., I was asleep. Suddenly, I heard a loud bang on the bedroom door. Someone said, "Open this door, I will break it down." I ran to the door. My husband was sleeping. There was a second bang. I opened the door. I saw a lot of men with pump actions and machete. They asked, "Where is your husband?" And I asked them where they were and who they are. They pushed me aside. I called my husband to wake up. They went and pulled him from the bed. He asked them who they were and they said they were the bakasi boys, also saying that it was a government order. There were about 40 of them in my outside. My husband was asked what they wanted. He asked them and they were hitting him so hard. they dragged him outside. One bakasi boy standing at the door with a gun. He told me to go outside and cocked his gun at me. They were still beating my husband. Another group came in and asked me to show them my husband's room. There was a boy in front of them. I recognized him as a local boy, an armed robber. He had previously assisted people who were after my husband. They turned the whole room upside down. The boy was doing it while the others were watching. They asked me where my husband's gun was, and I replied, "Which gun?" There was one double barrel gun, but they were asking for pump action guns and pistols. I told them we didn't have any. One of them raised his machete and said, "I will cut off your head if you don't give us those guns." They found nothing, he said. "Turn your back and I will cut off your head." He charged towards me with his machete, raised it and put it down. They told me they would take me with my husband and that it was finished if they don't find what they wanted. I went with them and asked a girl to close the door. One of the bakasi boys asked me if I wanted to show them anything. I said no. There were only children in there. The children were scared, so we had to lock the door. The bakasi wanted to shoot. I said, "There are children in there." He asked, "Which children?" "The ones you sell?" I asked the children to open. The bakasi just looked in and left them. Meanwhile, I heard the bakasi outside shooting. I came outside with them, so were behind me. Some were in front of me. I was just wearing my sleeping clothes and wrapper. My husband was just wearing his shorts. They had used his shirt to tie his hands. Outside, I saw bakasi boys everywhere. They had made people in the compound lie face down outside. They were eating them on their back with machete. She further narrated, "They took me out towards the gates. I could see my husband and about 15 people ahead with one bakasi group. I was about 10 or 15 steps away. One bakasi boy told me that they would shoot me if I came any closer. But the bakasi behind me was telling me to move. The one in front of me asked if I was deaf and threatened to shoot me. The one behind me also told me to move. I stood still and said, "I don't know what to do." Miss Okeke also narrated how the bakasi boys took 3 of their cars and arrested her father-in-law, elder brother-in-law, and another relative after hearing gunshots for about an hour in her father-in-law's compound. She also said the bakasi boys came back by noon and took their entire fleet of cars and particulars, also asking again for hidden guns, which they claim her husband asked them to give. A lot of businesses and a lot of businessmen and sitting governors were said to have pledged his release, including a former Nigerian president and a sitting West African warlord at the time. It was alleged that during his detention, he confessed to a lot of sordid actions, claiming to be particularly gifted in making potent charms, capable of aiding its users to disappear in awkward situations. For protections, he made concoctions by killing 3-day-old babies and bathing the subject with the remains for money. He would sacrifice a pregnant woman and the developing fetus. Total number of people killed for his purposes were peaked at 93, with 16 children missing from a maternity in Onitsha traced to him. He was said to be able to sleep during the day, duration of his cell after his hair was shaved, before he was cut into pieces and burned by the vigilante at the Ochanga Market Square, the Bakasi boys, Onitsha. He was said to have repeatedly begged to be thrown into the river Niger, and also advised everyone he had given a walking stick over the years to discard it in the same river upon his death. He was married to Joyce Okeke, and together they were parents to 8 biological children. After the death of Eddy Okeke, the state government set up a panel inquiry into the case. The panel had no legal status, no power to require further actions by the authorities, and its findings were never published. It is said that Eddy Okeke was innocent by some people, and some said he was a target by the political elites. Some said he was a ritual personnel who killed a lot of children. The truth is still yet to be known because the case has been swept over the carpet over these years. Thank you for watching, guys. If you're new here, consider subscribing and be part of this awesome family. And if you want to see more of true crime videos, please let me know in the comment section below. I'll see you guys in my next video. Cheers and have a wonderful life.